Welcome to my live chat. It says, okay. Hopefully, if anybody comes on here, they will be able to hear me. Hello, everybody. Okay, I am going to do my first live stream because we are going to be talking about the books of Emily Henry because her new book, Book Lovers, came out this week on the 3rd. So I'm going to talk about each one of the 3 Emily Henry books that I have read in the order that I read them. I don't know when they were published or anything like that. So first we're going to start with Beach Read. So I did post like a short review kind of a thing up, and I gave it 3 stars. I don't think I did that for People We Meet on Vacation, but we're going to start with Beach Read because this is the first book that I read. This one is about a young female author who goes on a vacation to her father's like a summer home, like his cottage kind of a thing. And she is a young romance novelist, and she is having trouble finishing or even working on her newest book because she has found out after the death of her father recently that her father had an ongoing affair with another woman and had been living in this cottage little beach home on and off for years kind of a thing. So she only kind of found out about it after his death, and her mother doesn't really talk about it. So she has taken the time off. She's going to go and secret window this thing to work on her next book, which again, she's writing romances, and now she's jaded by love thanks to her dad. And while she's there, she runs into another author who she had known in college. Augustus is his name, although I'm pretty sure they call him Gus through most of the book. He writes literary fiction, so he's more of a, I'm writing this deep, book about whatever, and soul-searching, blah, blah, blah kind of a thing. So they're really, opposites in what they're writing, but they're both kind of stumped at the time. And they end up sharing the same space in this cottage of her father's, his little affair sanctuary kind of a thing. And he's living adjacent to her, next door to her kind of a thing. So there's a little bit of rivalry going on between the two of them, and she definitely doesn't like him, but as it goes, has more fond feelings for her kind of a thing. So they decide that they are going to flip-flop, and he is going to work on writing a romance novel, and she is going to work on writing one of his more heavy novels, Parent Trap style, basically. So this is the first one that I read, and I would say that I enjoyed this book, actually. I think I gave it 3 stars. It's a romance. It's not as spicy of a book as some of the others that I've read, or some of them that are floating around kind of a thing where they have that. This is more of, learning how to move on from a betrayal. Her father betrayed her mother, and she sees it as a betrayal not only towards her mother, but towards herself and towards love in general. And how do you move on past that kind of a thing? And I liked it. I thought that it was a good book. It definitely it deals more with internal conflict than most of the romance books that people are out there reading right now. And I think that that's, something that's kind of missing, because it can be a little whole hog, feast or famine with romance. So I enjoyed this one. I thought that it was a good book, and I think that if you're looking for something that's like a romance and you don't need it to be dripping in 5 pounds of spicy content, this is a good book to read. So the second one that I read, I think it must be her second, it says it right there, is People We Meet on Vacation. And this one is about a young woman who is working for a travel company or a travel magazine, And she and her friend from college, it's set up very When Harry Met Sally kind of a thing. Like, she met him and they briefly connected, and then she doesn't really run into him again until, they both need a ride back to the hometown that they were at. Alex and Poppy are their names. Okay. So, they have this ride back, and it's all very men and women can't be friends kind of a thing. She's a travel writer and he is a teacher. And every year they go on vacation together. They take like a trip that's usually covered by her travel company kind of a thing. They take a trip together in the summers and reconnect. And when it starts, they haven't really spoken in about 2 years because, something happened, something went down. Why are they no longer friends kind of a thing? This book is told very much in the flashback present. So I'm not really a big fan of that. I can do a flashback here and a flashback there. Here, a flashback there, a flashback kind of a thing. But I don't really enjoy it running through the whole book. So automatically for that, I'm not as drawn to it. I guess that would not be a very linear way of writing it. And that's fine. I mean, I'm sure there are lots of people who enjoy that. They do it sometimes in TV shows and everything, but that's not really my thing. The other issue I have with this book is that they're supposed to be friends, right? And when the book starts, they're not really friends because of mystery event that took place and they're not connecting with each other anymore. But they're not together. And she doesn't really have feelings for him. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. The guy always has feelings for his love interest kind of a thing on the sly. But through this book, at various points in time, when they're meeting up together, they're both with other people. And they make a point of talking about how Alex has a girlfriend. I think at one point they're engaged, and at one point they break up, and then they get back together. And it's always, they're either together and she is expressing frustration. She doesn't want him to go on vacation with our main character, Poppy. It's really, it's hard to root for the main character, Poppy, in my opinion, because I think that most of us have been on the side of his girlfriend where, you know what? No, we're supposed to be together. I'm not sure I feel comfortable with you going on vacation with whoever, your friend. Yes, I understand that she's your friend and you've been friends from college, but you're both going away together and it's just the two of you. And that to me is just a little bit suspicious. I think that I might have a problem with that, as a matter of fact. At one point, they're both coupled up with other people and they go on vacation together. I think to Spain, possibly Italy, somewhere where the wine is free flowing, and it's an awkward situation kind of a thing. But it's almost like manipulation without being manipulation. I don't know. A lot of people would say, you know what, I don't have a problem with that. And that's fine. This is the book for you then. But for me, if I was engaged to a guy, or if I'm engaged to a woman, or I'm in a committed relationship with them and they want to run off for a week or two every summer to go hook up with, someone who's a possible love interest for them, I'm not exactly necessarily sure that that's going to go over very well. So in this instance, I have more sympathy for his respective other, and at one point her respective other. So I guess if that's something that you don't have an issue with, then you might really like this book. But I kind of do have an issue with that. So this one, People We Meet on Vacation, I don't think I did a video actually with the stars and everything like that. It's a good book. That's the problem, is that she writes very well, especially in this genre where it's kind of like women's fiction or romance fiction. And I really do. I really think that she writes very well. I really enjoyed Beach Read. If I had not enjoyed this book, I would not have bought this book, especially not really knowing that much about it. It's just, to me, I don't feel so good about the whole, I have a girlfriend, but I'm leaving every week or every year to go have a week-long vacation with my friend from college, and you'd best believe that we're not idiots and we can figure out when you're attracted to somebody else. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3-star book or a 3-star rating as well, because it's written so well. And again, it's a romance book and there's a little bit of the spicy content to it, but it's not so much that, it's not overwhelming. You're not reading 50 Shades of Grey version 12.0 or whatever number we're up to, which I'm fine with it either way. You want to go full smut or you want to be not so much, either way is fine with me. It's just that aspect of, it's almost like he's stringing his girlfriend along, like, I like someone else, so I'm just going to hold on to you in the meantime. So it's a 3-star book, but I'll probably only keep it this year for filming purposes, for this channel, for the Book Talk channel, and it'll probably be goodbye after that, because I can donate this to the local library, I can give it to a friend, I can mail it to a friend, or I can trade it in, something like that. So 3 stars so far, 3 stars so far, but that's based on the strength of the writing, not so much the plot or the characters, to be honest with you, because I got a little bit of shadiness from that. All right, and then we have the newest book, which just came out on Tuesday, called Book Lovers, which I'm honest, guys, I'm really trying right now to do the library. I'm trying to use Libby app, which you can get through your library card, or Hoopla app for getting books, so that I'm not just running out and buying stuff, spending money for stuff that I'm not going to end up liking. I'm trying to only buy stuff whenever I've read it and I know that I've read it and that I'm enjoying it. So a lot of times, actually, the hauls that you're seeing on my channel now, like the one I posted about Target, those are books that I've already read and decided that I really enjoyed them to the point where I want to own them, as compared to, earlier in January when I first started my channel, where it was like recommendations, heck yeah, let's do it kind of a thing. So I did pre-purchase this one. There was, I think on Barnes & Noble, they were doing like, if you do pre-orders, you get X amount off kind of a thing. So this I purchased on the strength of Beach Read, although, again, I wasn't a big fan of People We Meet on Vacation. So this one I purchased for that. And come on, it's Book Lovers. That's me. Sign me up. I'm a book lover. Look, I've got my own channel. I've got my own whatever I'm doing kind of a thing. So this book, all right, Nora and Charlie. All right, so this book is about Nora, who is a literary agent, of course, in New York. And she has a younger sister, Libby, and their mother passed away when Nora was 20, Libby was 16, so Nora's been taking care of Libby until she was an adult kind of a thing. And they are, like this, like glue. They're bonded together kind of a thing. And he's not a literary agent. He's an editor. Charlie is an editor. And these two meet up to discuss a book. And it is all sorts of friction. And they do not get along. And then the book really starts about 2 years later. Nora and her sister Libby, who is very pregnant with her 3rd child, have decided to go on vacation to this town called Sunshine Falls. Yes, Sunshine Falls, that one of her authors wrote about in one of her books. So they decide to go on a vacation to Sunshine Falls, and while they're there, somehow they manage to stumble onto her running into Charlie again. Who knew that was going to happen? So crazy, right? It's such a small world kind of a thing. And he becomes the editor for one of her author's books that's in progress. So they end up having to kind of work together over this month-long summer in North Carolina vacation sort of a thing. So this book, again, it's a romance. There's honestly barely any of the spicy content in this book. I don't even think the book is not even 400 pages long, and nothing really remotely like that happens until about 300 pages in. You know, there's a couple of snuggy moments, but that's about it. So this book really is more about coping with grief, because Nora is affected, and of course her sister is affected by the death of her mother. So it's more about coping with grief, and on his aspect, it's more about coming to terms with, you know, going home, basically, and dealing with your family who maybe you weren't able to connect with so much when you were younger, and, you know, dealing with mortality of parents kind of a thing, and learning, of course, it's always about learning to trust, but learning to trust another person in the same industry where it's so competitive. And Nora has to come to grips with the way that people in her industry see her. There's multiple references to people thinking that she's emotionless, that she's a shark, that she doesn't really have much of a heart kind of a thing. They refer to her, I think, as a smile with knives is what they call it. This is my favorite one out of the three that we've read. I don't really want to say too much about it because it is so new, but this is my favorite one. This one has such good banter between these two characters. They are very, it was on my mind because of the Johnny Depp thing, but they are very Bogart and Bacall. They've got the banter down really well in this book, and that is what kept me going on this, because I think that their characters connected very well back and forth, so they were able to really establish a connection like that before anything, you know, romantic kind of happened. So this book just came out, and this is my favorite one. It's definitely worth it. If you are thinking about starting any of her books, I would definitely recommend starting with this one or with Beach Read, just because I'm not a super big fan of the other one. But this one, I'm very glad that I purchased it, because I don't want to have like buyer's remorse all the time kind of a thing. And I'm specifically very nervous about the new Casey McQuiston book, the author of Red, White, and Royal Blue. But this one I'm very glad that I bought. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's probably like a 3.5 to 4-star book for me right now. I really so much enjoyed like the dialogue back and forth between them, and I really enjoyed her connection and her relationship with her sister, because, you know, siblings, they're a make or break kind of a thing. So that's it. That's my quick live. It's my first one I've ever done. So hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you will watch it. And if there's any other, you know, books you want me to talk about or anything like that that I've shown on here, please feel free to drop a comment and like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff that we're supposed to ask you to do. I am asking you to do it and support my channel. Thank you so much. And if you get a chance to, and you read this book, drop me a comment and let me know if you liked it, because this, like I said, is my favorite one out of the three that I've read by her. Once again, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Thank you so much. Bye.